running water. Okay, without running water. And she milked her own cow for the milk that she used and served. And she was a pediatrician, I said that, and she was a lovely lady. She brought her granddaughter and one of her daughters and son-in-law, and they immigrated to Israel. She has a daughter who's living there now, still living there now, and is the only member of her family who lives there. She doesn't speak English. And Ivye was a sad place because there were very few remnants of Jewish life. So we've kind of followed what has happened in Belarus, and we followed what has maybe happened or not happened in Ivye. I'm happy to be part of this group.
I should add that we had visas number, I think, 2 and 3 into Belarus. It was very shortly after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And the border guards didn't care. We just went on through. We had rented a black Volvo in Vilnius. We saw one other car in our time in Belarus, and it was a huge black Mercedes. And it was quite an experience. And we did go to the memorial.
Yeah, Maria took us to the memorial. We brought flowers, and she brought flowers, and she and her granddaughter, and we went to the memorial, and it just very, 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 very sad. And the following year, I think Tamar went. But really, when you go, and Alan could tell you, it's a very small town. The houses that were the original houses had burned down, Maria said, the original houses in the town. Jeannie, Laura, and Susie and I share a grandmother, Olivia, and she had described her family as tenant farmers and with who had a big oven, and the people in the town would come to the farm to bake their breads. And they made cheese. When we asked her what kind of cheese, she said it was kind of like Gouda, just a giant wheel of cheese. But that's what we know about Ivye.
Yeah, that's all of that sounds just wonderful. My grandmother used to tell us about that there was a lovely lake in Ivye where they would go swimming all the time. And of course, I learned from Tamar Rogoff's production that there was an amateur theater group, and they gave performances. You know, you can tell from her piece, they would perform things like the Dibuk, you know, and the Mikado, and I don't know how many other different productions they used to put on. And then there was the fireman's band, and I think it was her cousin Hani Rogoff played the trumpet in the band. And in her piece, that part was performed by Frank London, you know, who has a very, very fine group that play Yiddish music called the Klezmatics, right?
Yeah.
He's with the New Shul. If you want to hear Frank London regularly, he performs with the New Shul, which is kind of like an affinity group, or a Jewish affinity group in New York City.
Okay. Let's see. Well, let's have Merle Saferstein introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would like.
Sure. I just noticed that someone had suggested that if we all mute ourselves while someone else is speaking, the echo goes away.
Oh,
I want to suggest that. My name is Merle, and I was a educator in Miami for 6 years. So I worked at the Holocaust Documentation and Education Center, and worked with about 500 Holocaust survivors. I've never met anyone from Ivye, so for me this is really new, but certainly the stories are similar. I'm involved in a project now where we're interviewing people 90 years old and over, and we are making a book, a coffee table book, not necessarily Holocaust survivors, but just individuals. So I'm really very, very grateful for what I've been able to do, and happy to be here.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Okay, I think that maybe another thing that we could do that would probably be very meaningful. I don't have this in front of me in Hebrew, but I have it in English. I think that it would be meaningful for you to all hear the Yizkor prayer for martyrs. This is from the Yom Kippur afternoon service. May God remember the souls of all my relatives, those on my father's side and those on my mother's side, the holy ones and the pure ones who were killed and who were murdered and who were slaughtered and who were burned and who were drowned and who were strangled for the sanctification of the name. As reward for this, may their souls be bound in the bond of life, and together let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Wait a minute. 860-796-4.
Yeah, Now, let's see, I have a little something else I would like to share with all of you. It's very short, it's only about 5 minutes. I have 2 recordings of my grandmother's brother, Elias Epstein, singing. He sings a Russian lullaby, and then he sings a Yiddish folk song. And these recordings were made in 1959 by my cousin Jack Mankiewicz. And so I'm just going to share the screen and share the sound. Okay. And let me just these
exception. I guess you can't
for
do.
you. Okay.
What happened now?
Screen sharing. Okay.
What happened?
Let's see. Here's the first one. Okay.
That's his people.
This is Elias Epstein.
He's doing something. Yeah, that's the host. Gotta bring in new speakers for next week. It's no good. I don't know how you listen to music. What do we know? Nothing. The guy's playing. He's gonna put some music on.
Yeah, can you hear it?
When you learned the song?
There we go. Okay.
Oh, I would say about 30 years ago or so.
There, that's my Uncle Eli.
Where did you learn it, and from whom did you learn it?
Well, I learned it in Europe, in Estonia, and I learned it from the family.
Do you know anything of the origin of the song?
No, I don't, since it's a lullaby. It's like a folk song.
Yeah, they had the name from every one of them.
Right. Sing it.
I haven't seen one.
I
don't know.
Mladенец мой прекрасный, баюшки, баю. Тихо светит месяц ясный в колыбель твою. That's all there is to the first.
Okay, that was the first one. Okay. Let's do the second one. Here it comes.
I think there's 3 young girls that want to know about it.
Okay.
There's not one there. Can't help you. The same thing, does I repeat what I seen it?
Oh,
Where did you learn it?
It's live right now today. Yeah, I know, but it's the same thing.
Yes, that's right.
And from whom did you learn?
Where's the young girls that want to
oh,
know?
it's funny. It's kind of soft. I don't know why.
And
It's supposed to be
There we go.
a song describing.
I'm not familiar with any of the names that
That's funny. I don't know what's going on. I don't hear it. I don't know. I'll start it again. I can't hear it. I don't know why. That's very strange. Oh, well, okay. I don't know what's wrong. It's not working. I don't want to take up the valuable time for the meeting. I'm going to stop the share. I'm sorry. I don't know. So all of a sudden the volume went out and I don't know why. Mine. Okay.
Excuse me, Tom.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Rachel, you want to say something? Go
Do you
ahead.
want to mention this book? because for the first timers, that Steven Spielberg.
Oh, yes, okay, yes. The book that she's showing, that's the official Yizkor book for Ivye, right? And I ordered one from a bookseller in Israel, and it was apparently printed in about 1964 or something like that, right?
All the names of the people on there.
Yeah. And there don't seem to be any more of the original, but the copy that she's holding up, this is the reprint. And if any of you are interested, I can send an email to everyone and send you the website, you know, where you can order the reprint.
It's Steven Spielberg, right?
Yes. Well, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Alan, did you want to say something?
Well, no, I was told that there's 3 young ladies that are great granddaughters, and they want to speak to me. And if I knew their parents, so far, what I'm seeing now is a repeat what I've seen last time.
Miriam money for, I gave her a donation for, they're collecting money for Shalavim.
Whoever is the 917 number, can you please mute yourself? Thank you.
Oh.
All right, it's all good.
Why, she didn't ask you for it?
No, it's okay.
How come?
I don't, that's, you know, that's how she is. Okay.
Where are you?
Oh.
There's an Ivye meeting that they're having there, so I'm
Yes.
just listening to it.
Uh-huh.
Where were you? You're coming back here?
Yeah.
It was a wonderful day yesterday.
Tom, you might be able to mute everyone.
What? I'm sorry.
You can mute everybody.
Well, mute everybody? I don't know, because we don't want to mute everybody.
Yeah, but then we can unmute ourselves when we talk.
Oh, all right, let's
We're
try.
gonna go visit,
Okay,
How's the
maybe I'll
gold
mute
one, all right?
everyone except Alan.
but just don't rush on your,
Okay,
because
got
it's
it.
major surgery. He's a liar.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
All right?
Be well, good seeing you.
Bye.
All right.
oh, okay, that's over with. We can go ahead now. Okay.
Tom?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Marcia?
Yes, I do, yes.
Okay, so I don't know if everyone knows who I am.
Oh, well, go right ahead and tell
So,
us, sure.
so myself
Yes,
and Naomi J, who you see on another screen, and
Yeah.
Betty Ann, it says iPad Betty Ann.
yes,
3 of us are first cousins,
uh-huh.
and we are all cousins of David Baxt, who was one of the original members of the society, the Ivye Society. Maybe some of you remember David.
I remember
Baxt,
him very
a
well.
wonderful man.
Yeah.
And we
David Baxt
were
was a friend of
related
mine.
to him through our grandfather. David Bax's grandfather and our grandfather were brothers.
Uh-huh.
So some of us came to many of the meetings when they were held in Brooklyn. And I just wanted you to know who we were. I see Laura's on, but I don't see her picture. Laura's our cousin as well, Laura Bax, who's a granddaughter of David Bax, as you know.
Yes,
probably. And I just wanted to ask Shelley, if I may, you held up the book and you kept saying Steven Spielberg, but what is it? Is it when he interviewed people? Is it about Steven Spielberg? What is
No,
it?
no. The book is actually was put together. The editor who put together all of the articles and poetry and songs and pictures and everything was named Moshe Kaganovich, right? And it was published in Israel during the 60s, you know. And Steven Spielberg, you know, he surely has the book himself, and many of the people who you see pictures of in the book, especially the more recent ones, he did interviews with them, you know, video interviews, which he recorded. And recently I got in touch with the, I forget if it was the Holocaust Museum in New New York or the one in Washington, D.C., where those interviews are actually, where they have them. And I got permission to have access to them, and I downloaded all of them. And I mean, all of the ones of the people from Ivye. So it's about 20 interviews altogether. And if any of you would like to have me make copies for you on, DVDs and mail them to you, just send me an email and let me know, and let me know your address, and I will do that. So it's not exactly like a really hard, fast connection between the book itself and Spielberg, but it's kind of sort of an intermediary connection. But the actual book, I'll send out an email with the website where you can order the book, and you'll see that there are just amazing pictures in there. There's pictures of the Fireman's Band. There's pictures of the Talmud Torah, the study group. Pictures of many of the rabbis, I think like about maybe 16 or so rabbis going all the way back to, the 18th century or whatever it is. And there's one picture of all of the kids, getting in a line and getting ready to go out to the forest and celebrate Lag BaOmer, like they do even, as I understand it, even in Israel today, right? So it's really an absolutely incredible book. There's a picture of the smallest of the three synagogues they had. There was the new synagogue, the old synagogue, and the one for the people who didn't have that much money that they called the Kloisel, right? And so there's a picture of the Kloisel there. And you'll see that it was right at the train tracks. There was a train stop there. I think it was a train that went to Lida or something like that. I really don't remember exactly where it went, but people would get off, in Ivye, and the people would be waiting for them to welcome them. So let me see, what else do we want? Yeah, go right ahead. Please go ahead.
Wait, it's embarrassing.
Oh, is there someone calling on the phone for you? Oh.
And Tom, excuse me, do you want to mention Laura's book?
Oh, well, okay, it's called The Shoemaker's Son, and I really should probably let her tell because I really don't remember enough details. So you can go ahead and tell everybody all about it.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Sarah. As was mentioned, I'm David Back's granddaughter. In addition to David, my grandmother is a Holocaust survivor from a further south shtetl in what was then Poland. So I wrote a book about my grandparents' experiences, mostly focused on David Back's, but also on my grandmother's experiences as a child survivor. And it really just chronicles through the lens of his time there, the story of Ivye and the story of what happened throughout the war. I was really fortunate to not only be able to interview my grandfather in working on that book, but Alan Small and other survivors. So if you're interested in learning more about the backstory, thank you, I see someone has it held up, or just more about the story of what happened in India, I think that's a great place to do it. And a bit of a plug, all of the money, all the proceeds I receive get donated towards Holocaust education.
Oh, thank you. And it's available on Amazon, right?
Yep, Amazon, Barnes and Noble's major.
Okay, wonderful. So all of you who are interested, you're certainly welcome to everyone is welcome to buy a copy of the book on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. Wonderful. Okay, it says.
Is Alan Small able to say anything?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So that's your turn.
Well, what can I tell you? I seen it before, and now I'm seeing Laura Bax, of course, as she's sitting. We spoke, and she's very interested, in what's going on. Her family, the entire family. Dave Bax, or grandfather, am I correct? David Bax was your grandfather. Was a very good friend of mine, and we went through the war, part of it together. David, as a matter of fact, when the war was still going on, David was before that in the partisans, and then they took him in the Russian army. he went through, and he was a very dear friend of mine. So he's passed away not long ago, as a matter of fact, the entire family. The other thing is that I was told, I'm a little bit confused, and please forgive me. I was told I got an email, and it says that 3 great granddaughters would like to speak to me and explain if I hear anything about a daughter. So who are the great granddaughters, young great granddaughters that want to ask me questions? That's what I was told, because a lot of things that we're repeating it from last time, and I'm very interested to give you the answers, because it means a lot to me by talking about it and remembering myself, because I'm the only survivor. And I was the only alive today. In Israel, there's maybe 1 or 2, but they are already close to 100 years old and they cannot participate.
Yeah.
So I'm involved also in Israel. They call me and ask me questions. But one thing I can tell you, which I'm very proud of me, I might not know what I had for breakfast yesterday, but ask the policeman that killed the Jews in Ivye, I'll tell you the name and what happened, because I was very involved. I ran away, I'll tell you very shortly. When in 1941, August 1st, they came and picked out 222 men, including my father, and they killed them. Then August 1942, they had the big Schritte. It means they picked out 2,200 because they make it easier for them to kill the Jews. So they took from all the little shtetl and they brought them to Ivye and made a ghetto. So it'll be easier. So I am very. Should I tell you honestly? I remember everything exactly what happened. So anyway, they put it in May 8th. They surrounded the ghetto, and they kept us till May 12th, for 4 days. And then 5 o'clock in the morning, they started chasing out all the Jews to the center of town. And I was going to go with my mother. I was holding on to her sleeve. I said, Mom, I'm going with you. I was 13 or was 14 years old. She says, no. And we had an entrance to this attic from the house that nobody knows. There's also an entrance from the street. So my mother put a lock on it, and in that nobody's there. She locked it, and I cried that I wanted to go with her, and no, she said no. So I went into the attic, and I survived. Now, when I survived, and I came back, of course, from the partisans, I came back to Ivye, and I was very involved. My aim was plus the other survivors is to catch all the Polish collaborators and turn them in for what it is, because I honestly feel that the Polish collaborators I'll give you an example. My sisters went to Polish school. Most of the girls went to Polish public school. I went to here. And they were friends. The minute the Germans came in, they became policemen, and all this thing here. So, and then, like I said, they chased everybody out, and they killed 24, I think, or 28 people there, and then they made a ghetto. So, in other words, there's so much to talk about it, because also my sister's sister-in-law, when they took 60 men to cover the graves. Some of them were wounded, and that's I'm aware, because wounded, and so they buried him alive. They cried. So the girl, my sister's sister-in-law, Elke Kessler, she was screaming, "Ich lebe noch, ich lebe noch." And they pulled her out, and the German gendarmerie with the Polish police were watching, and she was in the nude, and the mother was there to cover the graves. So they started, please let them, and the German soldier says, the gendarmerie says, no, she can't, and the brother is standing right there, he shot her in the graves. So some people were even still alive when they covered the graves. So, and this went on, till 1944, and my entire aim, plus the aim of the survivors, is to try to take Nekome. That's what we do, if you know what it means, Nekome. That's all we care. you know, so the people that were older went into the Russian army, like David Baxter was older, I think, went into the Russian army, and I wasn't old enough, you know, so I still worked in the KVD, in the KGB, and my job was, my aim was strictly to find and kill or prosecute the collaborators that killed the Jews, and that wasn't easy because they didn't think that anybody survived. You know? As a matter of fact, when I used to catch them, the survivors, the policemen, and I had keys to the jail. As a matter of fact, I worked there already with the KGB, and that was my aim, to catch them. I used to lock them up, and then we used to send them, and the military tribunals used to send them. And one guy that testified against him, which was a real Polish, you know, bastard, is my expression, and they gave my testimony, and they got 20 years hard labor in Siberia. Whoever survived hard in Siberia for 20 years? And I always wanted to go and take my kids back into sea, to be exposed. So I get a call. There was a few Jewish families that lived in Ivye, and they said to me, which is my Jewish name, don't come because he survived. He's back. He'll kill you. So I waited about a year, I think, or whatever, it's a year and a half, and thank God it dropped dead. And I got a call from Ivye, and I took my two sons, and we went. I took them to Ivye, and of course, everybody was killed, you know. But you got to give credit also to the people, the Christians that lived there now. They taking very good care, and each year they have a meeting. Right, there's no Jewish people there anymore. So this year also, and what could I tell you? You know, my life went on like everybody else's. I came to America and came to an uncle, my mother's brother, and he treated me like I was his own son. And then the Korean War broke out, you know, and they took me into the American army. I didn't have to go, but if you didn't go to the army, you'd never be a citizen. And I was glad to go to the army. And I thought my entire outfit went to Korea, but since I spoke, and I can honestly say I spoke fluent Polish, German, and Russian, so they sent me to Europe, you know, and the people that went to Korea, I have a picture of them in my room over here. Nobody came back. They got killed there, and I was in the American army, Europe, and locally, I had a chance to go to Israel that time and meet my aunt, and also and then I came back to New York, and I started out working in the garment center. Became a cutter, and from a cutter I became a head cutter, and then I became president of the company. I retired from Klein, you know.
I got some questions for you.
Yeah. Okay, so now I wanted to give you a little something about myself. So now you can I'm willing to answer any questions you're going to ask me.
Hi, Alan. It's Robin Goldsmith's daughter.
Whose daughter?
Who?
Simon Goldsmith's daughter.
Simon who?
Goldsmith.
Simon Goldsmith's daughter.
Oh, yeah. Who's Simon Goldsmith to you? Shimon.
Daughter. My daughter.
You Shimon's daughter?
Oh
my God.
I'm showing you pictures.
Are you kidding me? There's a picture of me and Shimon. You see that?
Oh, beautiful.
Wait, I have more pictures.
I'm so excited. Yeah, sure. But Shimon Goldsmith was drafted in the Russian army a year before the war broke out, and he was lucky. He survived the war because, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Alan and my dad were very good.
Shimon and his brother Yosef, you know.
Joseph, yes.
Yeah, of course. I'm so nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. And
wonderful.
Here's a picture of my dad and his brother.
Yeah, whoever ask me anything, I'll tell you, because there's so much went on, you know, and I did the best. You know, what can I tell you?
You look amazing. Alan should be over my house many times with his family, and we went to the bungalow colonies together also.
No, we didn't go to the bungalow colonies, but I went to see him in the bungalow colonies.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shimon came out of the, and him and his brother Yosef survived in Siberia. And they had, what do you call it, a store, you know.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, they had a store. I used to go on Sundays. It was a kosher store, a meat store.
Yeah, he had a kosher book and kosher catering.
Shimon and I, forget it, we were like this here. Yeah.
Oh, here's a great picture of you.
Oh, you got pictures, yeah.
Can I make it bigger? Let's see. I don't know. How do I make it bigger? Oh, there it
here,
is.
here. You see, let me tell you, that's a very, oh my God. I have this picture also. This is, we were, Shimon became in the UNRWA, United Nations Organization. So Shimon became a trooper over there. And then the other guys, and when I came in.
Here's you too, Alan.
They are.
You're my dad.
There's Shimon. And then
and you.
There's Shimon. And there's, what's his name? I forgot already. He passed away. He was also in the Russian army during the war.
And that's you.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Or here, keep this picture for 1 second. For 1 second.
Robin, can you share your screen? Can you share your screen?
I'd love to. I'm not sure how to do it.
Go down to the bottom and it says share screen.
I wonder if it'll let her do it. Maybe, you know, I have to make her a
Tom
host or
has to,
something like that.
yeah, Tom has to make her co-host in order.
Tom,
to-
yeah.
You look like somebody from the India.
Oh, no, I didn't want to.
Yeah, I have tons of pictures of you coming to our house. If you Google Simon Goldsmith Holocaust, all these pictures are.
I have all the pictures. I have albums here from all the survivors. You know, too bad I cannot show you my. I'm talking from my office.
This is Alan and my dad.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was the youngest one. You know.
I'm not sure who this is.
Oh.
That's my uncle next to my dad. And I don't know who that is.
Oh, let's see this picture. The other one, this one here. You just took it off.
That one, that's my uncle. That's my uncle.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see the guy now in the middle. He was in the Russian army. He survived. Then he came back to the United States and he passed away. He was about 100 years old, I think. I knew them all.
Yeah.
I went on, I Googled what you said, Simon Goldsmith, Holocaust survivor. I see a lot of photos.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, there's Shimon. There is. Are you kidding? Also, you were the Goldsmith.
Yeah.
I showed this picture I found on the.
Right. That's there.
Oh, wonderful.
Where do you live now?
I live in. I just moved 2 days ago to Florida.
Where?
I'm in Valencia Cove in Boise Beach.
20 minutes from my dad's house.
Oh yeah, we just
20 minutes, and I would love for you to come to visit me, and I'll show you. I have unbelievable what I got to show everything from before the war and the war and all this. I wish any one of you. And
I would love to come visit. Are you in New York or where are you? Where do you live?
In Palm Beach Gardens.
Palm Beach.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Palm Beach Gardens, and the place where I live is Ballin Isles.
Ballin Isles. Oh, you know what?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Where'd you get it?
From our father.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'll get the information.
What's the name of the book?
But anyway, I before I stop, to all the people that you are there, you have an open invitation when you're in Florida or when you come on to visit. I want you to come here to my house, and you. Oh yeah, look at this. Sure,
that she knows it.
She wrote the book.
Here she.
Yeah.
Here she.
I was showing the internet these pictures.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I have. Right, my father did interviews, and I have, like I said, all those pictures. Yeah.
Listen, who was it that got married? The father got sick at the wedding.
That was my brother.
Yeah, yeah, I
He's in
know.
Florida also, yeah.
Yeah, I He's the remember.
I
that.
mean-
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, there's plenty of pictures of you, Alan. Yeah.
not
And
only that, not only that, but we're distant relatives, you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very distant relatives, you know. I'm so glad. If you don't come here from Valencia, we're gonna get mad.
I'm absolutely gonna come.
We'll send you an Uber, don't worry.
I could drive. Yeah, but like I said, I'm only here just 2 days. My husband and I just moved.
So wait another month or two. The only thing you'll talk about is food and weather. That's it.
I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. I'm such a New Yorker, but New York is not what it was.
You know what? I'm going to say something, and I mean it. All you people that are there, we're talking about Ivye and the Stetler. If you are ever in Florida, not far where I live, you're invited to my house because I'll show you.
I'm coming.
That nobody's got it. You know what I mean? I have albums, good ones and bad ones. I have.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That, in case you don't know, in 1944, the war was still going on. The Russian government sent out a committee to check about the killing of the Jews, and they opened up the graves. And I have pictures of that too, you know. And as a matter of fact, when they opened the graves in 1944, a lot of people, dead people were recognized because they didn't get undressed with the clothes and everything, you know. And I was standing there and watching all that. So it's a lot of history, because I was very interested, you know, in Ivye, and not only that, you know, they used to say to me, "Oh, I got more face thing, his big mouth, he knows everything." I remember. Who's that? Let me see. I'll tell you what that is.
That was my dad and his son, kosher, kosher care. So I'm Goldsmith brothers. I don't know.
There are anybody in the group also that wants to know from Ivye? You ask me. I'll tell you. I'm glad to tell you.
Does anybody else know my dad? Simon?
Simon, I know Simon here. Shimon and Yosef, the two brothers.
Simon. Yeah.
I knew your dad, of course.
Oh, okay.
Well, last time I saw him was at the meeting in Brooklyn, remember?
Yeah, I was with him. I took him to all the meetings. Yeah.
Oh.
But I met him as a child because my father, they used to call him Maish, the butcher.
Your
father
and his brother, I think they were known as the Kishka. I don't know.
The Knishman in Mountaindale. Yeah, yeah. The Knishman.
Oh, as a matter of fact, your father, he taught me how to drive a truck, because, you know, he was, when he came to Germany, driving a truck with the UNRWA, United Nations Organization, and I drove a truck like you fly a plane. I didn't know.
Well, Alan, I remember you coming to our house all the time in Brooklyn. You
хотел посмотреть, как она высматривает.
You in my house also.
Советская.
Is there anybody else in the group from Ivye?
No, a relationship to Ivye.
If you had any, because I'll tell you, if you ask me about Ivye, all the people, I'll tell you exactly about everybody if you tell me the names. Honestly, I do, because I get calls from Israel all the time to tell them, you know, I remember. I don't remember actually the name of my next door neighbor, but.
Alan, did you remember Abrams or Abramovich or Abrazhansky?
Abramovich.
Abramovich.
Yeah, sure. I remember the Abramoviches in Ivye. Sure.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and you know, one thing, honestly, they used to say, I mean, you know, did you understand what I said? Oh, he's got a big mouth already, but I knew everybody and everything, and they knew it. If I can tell you what I did by finding the policeman, the Polish policeman, oh, what I did, I had keys to the jail. You know, the families used to bring him food to this Polacks in jail, and the Jewish families, the survivors in Ivye, they didn't have what to eat. So I used to take away the food from the Polish prisoners and give it all the Jewish survivors.
Big deal.
Well, for a little guy with a big mouth, I did a lot of things, you know.
Alan, did you know the Backs and the Sheftals? We
Yes.
are family to the Backs and to the Sheftals.
And I'll say that, leave this.
And Bucks, I know the Shefters. I knew and I know the Bucks. Schefter in Ivye is the, I'll tell you, some from the Shefters went to South Africa, you know, somebody family before the war, many years ago from the Shefters. And the one that survived the war is Malka Schefter. She lived then in Canada.
She's the one from Montreal. Did you know her?
Yeah, of course I know everything. You know, honestly, I'm not making it up because it sits in my mind. You know what I mean? And if you think that day and night, you know, I think about it. I mean, honestly, it's such a pleasure to talk to you. You know.
Alan?
Our grandmother was a Sheftel. I just want to tell you a very quick Ivye story that my mother told me. And that is that sometime in the late 1800s, and I think we had documentation, I think that this group had documentation of a big fire. They called it a schrefe because it wasn't just a fire. It was bigger than a fire. It was a schrefe, and it burned down half the town. And apparently the Stadlach in Europe, it often happened because the houses were made of wood and they didn't have a fire company. They had no way to put out the fire. So this fire, schrefe, burned down half of the village of Ivye, and the people in that half went to live with the people in the other half. And that was how my grandfather, who was a Baxt, went to live with the Sheftals. And that's how my grandfather who was a Baxt and my grandmother who was a Sheftal got married, and he came to this country. And this family that I just showed you, this is the Sheftal. This is what was left of the Sheftal family in Europe after the Sheftal, after some of them came to America. And two of my grandmother's sisters are in this picture, Hoda and Sorka, and I want to say their names because those two sisters, the older people were gone by the time of the Holocaust, but the two sisters of my grandmother,
you know, the Ginsburg family,
Hoda and Sorka were killed.
The Ginsburg family, you know, the Ginsburg family survivors also.
I don't know the Ginsburgs. I only know we only heard from my family about their direct family who were killed, and many were killed on both sides, Backs and Sheftals.
Well, I want to tell you something about the Ginsburg family. The Ginsburgs, you know, the two brothers, they were really one of the biggest fighters in the partisan movement. Very well, you know, as it's only too bad that the younger brother, also a hero, the Ginsburgs, he went to a village already when they chased out the Germans, and the goddamn Polacks killed them over there. But the families lives, you know, some of them live in Canada. I don't think in Canada, in New York. A wonderful family, the Ginsburgs. You know, I used to be very close and see them now. You know, you drift away after years, you know, but a wonderful family, the Ginsburgs. And who else is there in Canada? In Canada also from Ivye, but they're not alive because I was the youngest one, don't forget. And so if I'm 95, you know, they are all older than me. I accomplished a lot in the United States. They say in Yiddish, the culture doesn't owe me anything, you know what I mean? But I accomplished. In school, I never went here in the United States at all. When I got off the boat, I didn't say words. I accomplished a lot, you know, and I love this country, and I have wonderful kids here. Here's my son and my daughter-in-law. I don't want to even say daughter-in-law. She's my friend and daughter, you know. But it is what it is, you know how to say. Was she's given us with this woman today. And again, what do 11? Oh, yeah. I can't believe it. All these years. So, what I really mean it. I was speaking to all of you. If you're gonna be in Florida, the people that don't live there, and you're gonna come to Florida, my number is 561-691-5002. You can call me.
I will call you, Alan, yes.
But I have open invitation because where I sit now is my office, and the wall is alles from the quorum, from the everything is on the wall. You like a museum when you walk in here, So, and as I get 11, how to say in Yiddish, what could I,
Red Yiddish als wie unsere Älteren.
Which one is so?
That she said something.
What?
I said it in Yiddish. Ihr redt Yiddish als wie unsere Älteren.
Ich bin Boss?
Dieselbe Yiddish von unserer Familie. Dieselbe Yiddish.
Yeah, dasselbe Yiddish.
Their version of Yiddish.
Yeah, wij willen kunnen reden Engels, we kunnen reden Yiddish.
Wir können reden Yiddish. Aber nicht alle da reden Yiddish.
Believe it or not, what I mean. I did pretty well for a little refugee that came into America.
Yeah.
How to say in Yiddish, the country kommt mir gar nicht. The country doesn't owe me anything. No place in the world I would accomplish something like me becoming a refugee in the United States. I love this country, but then again, I'll tell you, I'm very concerned. Before I started speaking to you, I saw a program now in Germany, how the anti-Semitism is there, and it frightens me. In the United States, anti-Semitism went out 40% to 45%, and that worries me, not for me, for my children. They don't let go of us. They don't let go, they don't. As they eat us. So if any other questions, so anybody wants to ask me, please do it. I can't see you now.
Oh.
No. All right, you can ask, like I said, the invitation is open and you'll enjoy very much, but you'll be very interested to see my office when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
I have even there a big picture from the Jewish children's shoes in concentration when they killed them over there. I love a lot of things there.
Any questions?
So it's wonderful today. I enjoyed talking to you all.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
The only thing I can say.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Alan, can you hear me?
I'll say in Yiddish, wir sollen erleben ein paar Jahre und reden wieder. Those that doesn't understand, I'll repeat.
Hashem Dank euch.
I love you guys. I'll talk to you.
It's not over yet, then.
Alan, I still have my original house in Brooklyn on East 58th Street between J and K. My father passed.
We didn't hear that last thing.
Alan used to come to our home all the time on East 58th Street in Brooklyn between J and K. I'm telling him I still have the house there.
I know where it is, but
yeah.
Because I lived in Brighton Beach.
Yeah, I know. I remember you and your family. Yeah.
My cousins, what you're talking about, he passed away, and the other cousins passed away already in Brooklyn. I have one first cousin that still lives in Coney Island. She's say about 90, 92 years old, but she's still alive, and the rest is nobody there. But look, I am lucky, when I say lucky, it depends what you consider being lucky. I'm lucky that I have now my daughter-in-law, my son sitting next to me. And like I said, my son is my best friend and my daughter-in-law is my best friend, so, so I'm lucky. And I have two granddaughters and two grandsons, nice kids. And as a matter of fact, my grandsons is here, and he was yesterday helping me to get in touch with you guys, you know.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's all.
Mhm.
If anything, before we say seid gesund, you can ask me.
Mhm.
What?
Okay.
He just crying. He's
Oh, uh-huh.
he's crying.
Do you remember who was the rabbi in Ivye in the Kleusel when this? Yeah.
Perlman was killed with my father together, and they picked him in front of my house, 220 people, and they made the rabbi dance to dance.
Yeah.
To dance, and the entire rabbinical staff they took with my father that time, and they killed 220 people. What they did to the rabbi, you know, the Polacks, they made him dance.
Oh my God.
They shot him, you know, and on top of it, I heard the latest that they gave him if they want to cover their eyes, they take off the shirts and cover their eyes when they shoot him, you know. You know, but I'll never forget him. To me, a Polak is a good. I don't want to even say that, because they were worse. The Lithuanians and the Polish, we were afraid for them more than the Germans, you know. And of course, history is rewritten. You know what I mean? The Ukrainians. When I tell you what by the way, every time they kill Jews, so part of the killers were from Ukraine. They were so anti-Semitic. You know, they took out that time 75,000 in Kiev, and they killed the Ukrainians. All of a sudden today, of course, I don't wish them. They are not responsible what their great grandparents did, but the Ukrainians were the worst ones. I've been around, look, because I have seen, I have been, and I know what's going on today. It worries me. I don't worry about myself. I worry about my children, about my grandchildren, you know, the entire situation. Today, before I read it on the newspaper, I heard what's going on in this country now. Yeah, come on. They'll never leave us alone. Never leave us alone.
Yeah.
Never. So that's why we have to be together with one another. So sei gesund, you know.
Thank you.
And I will
You
come
too.
visit you.
I like seeing. I loved seeing you. And Lomel Daleme Bakayo, if you know what that means. Should live to be next year to talk again. Invitation stands, an open invitation to all of you to come to see me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan.
I was wondering if I could make you all aware of a movie called J'excuse. It was, it received multiple honors: the Los Angeles Cinematography Award, Bridge of Peace, American Golden Picture International Film Festival, European Cinematography Awards, Canadian Cinematography Awards, and many, many other awards. But I wanted to tell you, it is the story of the Lithuanian Jewish community that was totally disseminated in the Holocaust. Over 220,000 Jews, more than 95% of the population were murdered.
Can you post that, Nick? Can you post that, the name of it?
Yes, I will. A key player in that massacre was the Lithuanian nationalist Jonas Norjaika. And today there is a South African man named Grant Goshen. Are any of you aware of Grant?
No.
He is the cousin of a very dear friend of mine, and he came to my community. He is in conjunction with Norjaika's daughter, Sylvia Fotai. The two of them, she's a very brave Lithuanian non-Jewish woman who's come forward, and they are going after the Lithuanian government who denies the history that happened in Lithuania. And they have all kinds of, they've taken them to court, and there are there are things going on now to try to get the Lithuanian government to come to terms with what happened and admit what happened in the country. So I will post the name of the film. If you have, any of you have any connections to the Jewish Federations, our Jewish Federation in Fort Myers, Florida, we sponsor this film for the community.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
all the members of the Jewish Federation, yes. I was active in the beginning years ago at the Jewish Federation, but then, I got older and I had to stop being active in those places because it was affecting me, I couldn't sleep after and all that. So now, if you would be in my house, you would see, I sit and watch television, and in front of me are all the pictures from my mothers, from my uncles, and ask me sometimes what I'm watching the television. I don't know, because my eyes is strictly concentrated on the pictures, So then about 3-4 weeks ago, and I had to do something because I don't watch and I cried. So I took newspapers and I covered all the pictures, So I had the pictures covered with newspapers, so watch television. And then last week I said, no, the hell with that. I took off the newspapers and I said, nobody's going to stop me from watching the pictures. Yeah.
Representative, no.
This is my youngest grandson.
Not the youngest, almost the youngest.
The
Hello.
grandson.
Oh, hello.
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Oh, he helped me yesterday with yeah. But if my family is there, all right. You can. I have nice granddaughters, and I'm lucky. You see, God didn't punish me with both hands; He just punished me with one hand. I stopped him with the second hand. But you know what I say? Yiddish was is given, Kumen zurück, die schöne Jung ankloven, also schnell.
Yeah, if you guys want to get in touch with him, he's on Facebook. You could always follow him on Facebook and message him.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he'll just add him on as a friend.
Yeah, and then he has messenger.
And then you could message him.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Fantastic idea. If there's anyone here who
You can also do the FaceTime in the messenger on Facebook. You can FaceTime him. He doesn't have an Apple phone, so it's easier on the Facebook Messenger.
Okay. If there's anyone here who's not on our contact list, usually when I add people to the list, I like to add the email address and the phone number. So if you just let me know, right, I can add you to the contact list and send out a new copy, so you'll get the one list, name and email address and phone number and name for everybody, right? And of course, in case anyone doesn't know, there's also a film called Defiance, and it's about the Bielski brothers, Tuvia and Zush and Azrael, and I can't remember the name of the last one, forming their own Otriad, and fighting with the partisans, right? And there's the spot in the film where they say that they show a group of people coming into the forest from Novogrodok. That's the people around the area of Ivye who were joining with Tuvia. And the part of Tuvia Bielski is played by Daniel Craig, who played James Bond, and I would say he's about maybe 5 times better as Tuvia Bielski than he is as James Bond. Absolutely fantastic performance.
Like Mary, E like England, 19, R like Robert, 704, 1, F like Frank, S like Sam.
Let me tell you about Bielski brothers.
Yes.
about Belsky brothers. I was strictly in a Russian brigade and a Russian, and one guy is more anti-Semitic than the other ones. So, and I was in the Razvedka. Razvedka means that I was riding the horses, and then, so I went back to my outfit, and no, so I see I'm riding my horseback, and I see a wagon is going in the forest. I went with two guys right.
See this guy?
I got closer on horseback.
I know, but I'm gonna tell you something.
No, go ahead.
No, but anyway, about basically, so I'm riding up your horses, and I see a wagon is going in the forest with two people. Sure enough, I see Nikolaevsky, my cousin, and Kopel, who is still alive in your life. He's 100 years old.
Wow.
I said to them, "Where are you guys?" And I was so proud of myself, horseback with it. You also work with the. So he tells me. So I came right away to the outfit. I go over to my commanding. I'm having trouble reading the temperature. So I said to my commanding officer, "Would you let me go?" And it was about in the forest, about 8 minutes. So he gave me. I wrote it. Yeah. And make that it won't take you.
Yeah.
No, but default is 175. But like for example, I pressed somebody else 350, but I wanted to go to 375. But in Belsky, I had my own, my father's typhus there. In Belsky, they had the typhus epidemic, and my cousin died from typhus in Belsky. Yes, I've been there. What can I tell you? We're here. I'm lucky. I consider myself very lucky, you know. So, and I'm lucky with who I'm surrounded. My kids, my grandchildren, and let's hope you do that again. If any questions, like I said, call me. I want it. Okay, so that's how you have to do it. You got to start, I can't change it because I can't. Each time I cook, I have to just put down what I want the temperature to be. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna tell. So listen, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys.
Oh.
And the year is the same as on the Lemme Bayo. And again, we'll talk to each other. Wishing you all the very best.
Oh, thank you. You're a treasure. You're a living treasure. Every word you say is a treasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm here. Oh.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank
Send
you
my
so
love to
much.
Larry.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Find him on Facebook.
Thank you, Meryl, for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell him.
Tell him. Yeah.
I did.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, it looked like somebody. Oh, a dog. Somebody has a nice dog there. That's beautiful. Okay. In the Ivye Yizkor book, it talks about how, you know, the people of Ivye had a wonderful sense of humor, right? And it lists, you know, some of the funny sayings that they used to say to each other, right? And my grandmother used to say some of these sayings, you know, and there's just one particular one I want to share with you. You know, she used to say to everyone, if your eye falls on a bargain, pick it up, right? So it's just a nice example of, you know, some of what a nice sense of humor the people from Ivye had, right? And then there's another story. I don't remember who told me this. I think it might be Tamar Rogoff. But she said that, you know, I think it was the people in Ivye, you know, when they knew that the Nazis were coming, right? And they said to the rabbi, what should we do? And he said, okay, we should all go to the shul and we will say all of the prayers for all the services for all of the holidays, one after another, and give thanks to God, right? And so one of the people in the congregation said to the rabbi, what is there that we can possibly give thanks to God for? And he said, we can thank God that we're not like them. Right? And so I think that's actually another very, very meaningful story from Ivye, right? I just wanted to share with you all.
That's beautiful. Is there a way for people to get to see the Yizkor book?
Yeah, I'll send an email to everyone I have on the contact list that includes the URL for the website. It's something like, I forget what it is, like International Yiddish Society, something like that, where you can order the Ivye Yizkor book. And I think that they print them, as required, right, for the people.
With the list of people in it? That book?
It shows, it has, of course, this was printed in about 1964.
Yeah, it has names of people that came.
It has a list of the names the people that came to America at that time, so many of them are probably not with us anymore. But it does have a list like that,
But not the list of the people that died?
I don't know if it's a complete list. I think it does. I'll have to look at it to try to be sure. I think there is a list of all the people that died. And when Tamar Rogoff, came there, at first she didn't, when she first arrived, she didn't know what had happened to her family, that 40 members of her family had all been killed in that massacre. And so they were telling her, and there was a woman, she was one of the last few Jewish people still in Ivye at that time. I can't remember her name, something like Sonia, maybe, I don't remember her last name. And she had a list of all of the people from Tamar's family. She had it written by hand, a complete list. But I don't know if she's still alive, and maybe she's in Israel or something like that. But I will look carefully at the book and see if it shows the list of all the people that died. But as far as we know, it's approximately 2,500 people. And like Alan was telling us, it's not 100% of them were from Ivye. They gathered together some of the people from the smaller towns, because Ivye was, a little bit bigger than some of the others, but not like that one that someone was telling us, 220,000. That's absolutely incredible. I mean, I don't know how many is the population of Vilna, but that must be getting close to that. Oh, it says my candle is blocking my face. Okay, I'll take the candle away. Okay.
Did you say that there's a website with that same information?
What?
Did you say that there's a website with the same information about?
It's a website who publishes the reprints of the Ivye Yizkor book. The original one is bigger.
Is that the book I held up, Tom?
Yeah, but yours is also the reprint. I have one of the originals, and it's very difficult nowadays to locate any originals for sale because it came out in 1964. But the reprint is perfect, right? And there's another link to Spielberg, right?
Can you just say, before you go on, can you just say what the name of the website is?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I would have to search around on my computer. I don't want to take up everybody's time now. I'll find it, right? I might have it on my cell phone.
And could you send it? Could you send it to the list?
Wait. Do you want me to let me copy and send what I see in the book for your reference?
Okay, I don't have those things now. If they have the list of the people who died, I can make scans of it. I can copy it for everyone, and I can send that too. And I will send an email to everyone on the contact list that contains the information, the URL for the website who is selling the reprints, right? But yeah.
I'm sending something to you.
Oh, wait, let me go get my cell phone. Oh, no, I don't know. Let's see if I can do it.
Wait, I'm going to send you everything, the ISN, everything.
Oh, you have it. Oh, all right. That's wonderful. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what I learned about this at the Carnegie Library in New York, when they make the Youth Corps books available on their website, right? They had to do a scan or a photograph of every single page, right? And the books are very thick, so when you're turning through the pages in the book, they come out, they would be a little bit curved, right? And it would be a little bit hard to read them, right? So Spielberg hired someone to write a computer program that could adjust the curve so that it looks like every page is perfectly clear and perfectly flat. So when you receive the copy, you'll see every page looks completely clear and flat, exactly like in the original. And you'll see all the pictures and everything.
Let me see.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I guess I probably shouldn't, go away and go grab my cell phone and look at it now, but I will get it and I will send it out to everyone on the contact list,
Thank you.
where you can order the book.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you think that maybe now, what we always used to do at the meetings in Brooklyn, towards the end, we would always say Kiddush. Would everyone like to say Kiddush? I mean, not Kiddush, I'm sorry. Kaddish, I mean Kaddish together.
Yes.
Okay, anyone who would like to join me, please join me. Yiskadal v'yiskadash, Shemei Rabbah, Amen. Olma divrach Yerusei, v'yamlich malchusei, v'yatzmach pur konei, yikorev mishichei. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beis Yisrael. Ba'akala uvizman koriv v'imaru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mefarach li'olam ulalmei olmaya. Yisparach v'yishtabach v'yispar v'yisromam v'yisnaseh. V'yishadar v'yishaleh v'yishalal. Shemei dekudashah barichu. Amen. Le'ela min kol birchosa v'shirosa, tushbechasa v'nechemasa, da'a miran bi'alma v'yimaru. Amen. Amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shamaya v'chayim tovim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimaru. Amen. Should I say it in English for you? Okay, I guess so. Exalted and hallowed be his great name. Amen. Throughout the world which he has created according to his will, may he establish his kingship, bring forth his redemption, and hasten the coming of his Moshiach. Amen. In your lifetime and in your days and in the lifetime of the entire house of Israel, speedy and soon. And we say Amen. May his great name be blessed forever and to all eternity. Blessed and praised, glorified, exalted, and extolled, honored, adored, and lauded be the name of the Holy One. Blessed be he. Amen. Beyond all blessings, hymns, praises, and consolations that are uttered in the world, and say Amen. May there be abundant peace from heaven, and a good life for us and for all Israel, and say Amen. He who makes peace in his heavens, may he make peace for us and for all Israel, and let us say Amen. Thank you, everyone. So how does everyone feel about when we should schedule the next meeting? Would you like to wait till the time of the massacre next year, or would you like earlier one?
I think you should have it more often.
Maybe around like December, something like that? Or is that too close? I don't know. What does everyone think?
I think our last meeting was in November, I think.
November. Okay, well, we can try for November. I'll pick out, give a list of all the different Sundays in November, and we can see who is free, right? And I'll send that out as soon as I gather up all that information. And anyone who wants to be added to the contact list, I got Jean and I forget who was the other one. I think no, Robin Sousa already had. No, I forget there were some new ones. No, Jean, who I just need the phone number. I'll send you individual emails. And anyone else, it's no dues. There's nobody has to pay anything for this. It's all, when we used to rent the synagogue in Brooklyn, we used to pay, but nobody has to pay anything for this, right? So I'll send the email with the information for where to order the U-Score book. And I'll also send some, what all the dates are of Sunday in November to see when we want to have our next meeting. Of course, we don't have to try to schedule it now. We have some time to wait. But thank you everyone so much for coming and responding to all my emails. And like Alan said, it's very important for those of us who are still healthy and, alive and strong and everything to keep the memory of all of this alive. And Abramovitz also had a wonderful idea. She said that I should try to contact Wolf Blitzer. I believe probably his real name is probably Wolfgang.
No, it's Wolf Blitzer.
It's just plain Wolf Blitzer? Okay, well, I'll try to contact him and, just tell him about our group and, how it got started and a little bit about the shtetl of Ivye. And
Tom, can you hear me?
Yes.
Maybe sometime in the future, we can plan a get together sometime in the future.
Yeah, I see. Uh-huh.
I would love that.
Well, is there anything else anyone wants to share with us before we sign off?
Yes, want to thank you very much for all the work that you've done.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Really appreciate your work in organizing this.
You're quite welcome.
Yes,
pleasure.
thank you very much for doing it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, everyone.
You may also want to contact Dana Bash. She and Wolf
Yeah, I told him that they did.
Also Dana Bash. Okay.
Yes.
He and Dana Bash did about 5 days when it was, a tour of the concentration camps. That's what.
Okay.
Yeah, they did a wonderful job.
I know someone years ago who told me he went to a Jewish, it was a camp.
Yeah, Tamar Rogoff is in Philadelphia now, and I think it's her grandson is doing another presentation about the Ivye, right? So it's really remarkable. She had her presentation in 1994, and it was kind of like exactly the perfect time where she was able to easily get permission to have it in Ivye, because later on with the changes in the politics and then there are eventually no Jews left in Ivye, probably the mayor would have turned her down, but in 1994 she was able to do it. So it was just wonderful. And the man,
you want me to tell
Rabbi,
them
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Should I share with them about her grandfather's brother that I knew?
Yes. Sure.
When I was a young child, we used to have, everyone had the same insurance man, and his only name was Rugoff. He would come to our apartment in Brooklyn with holding in his mouth a cigar he must have been chewing on for about 4 hours. With one of those typical men's felt hats in the 50s, with an open raincoat. All I knew was as a child, that was Rugoff.
Yeah.
Everyone who came from Ivye used him. He was their insurance agent. And the other day, I was part of an email and I asked her, were you related to him? Was he related to you? And she said, that was my grandfather's brother. It's just a memory from childhood. Ivye kind of tried to stay together, communicate with each other.
Yeah, her father was the official doctor during the World War II days. They had a special group of fighters who were kind of like what we call the special forces now, and they were called Merrill's Marauders. And and he was the doctor, and he traveled with them, and he, when they would go to places where everybody was getting malaria, then he would get a lot of quinine to give everybody to keep them healthy. And he traveled all those different places, right? And so she did, one of her dance theater pieces was called Daughter of a Pacifist Soldier. And of course, the pacifist soldier was her father, and it was her, she was the daughter. And she had veterans from 7 different wars, from World War II all the way up to the Gulf War in that production. And she has done many of these kinds of productions. She did one about the Greek myth of Demeter and Persephone, right? And she interviewed all of the mothers of all the girls who were in it, and they all said, I feel like I'm the Demeter, right? And it's all about, learning to be able to let go and let your children become adults in their own right and live their own life. It was one of those kind of pieces. And she has done probably at least one every year, even with the COVID and everything. She continues to do them, and she's working on another one for a few months from now, something like that. And she did one that was called Diagnosis of a Faun, right? And so the faun was, a Greek mythical creature, from the waist up, he's a human, and from the waist down, he's a goat, right? And the actor who she got and trained him to be the dancer and lead actor in the production was a man who had cerebral palsy, right? And what she discovered is that as he was learning her choreography, the symptoms of his cerebral palsy began to go away, So all the doctors were absolutely astounded, and they hooked up, electrodes to his body, and they measured all his vital signs as he would dance and everything. And he said that, while he was working on this dance production, he was able to feel the floor with the bottoms of his feet for the first time in his entire life, right? And so now he teaches other people everything that Tamar taught him, and they teach other people, and they have, organizations dedicated to this in places all over the place. I think that they have one in Brazil, and they have a few in Europe and so on. So she's a very, very important person in the dance world. And I believe that she still gives dance classes even now. She's about 76 years old. And I think that in her new production, she's going to do some dancing now, even though she's 76 years old. So anyway, I just wanted to share all that. But thank you, everyone, for coming. And
Thank you.
If anyone else wants to share anything before we close, just go right ahead.
Yes, I would like to say something.
Sure.
We're talking about the fire. 1929, Ivye had a devastating fire, which really destroyed Ivye.
What?
A devastating fire.
Yes. I think they have a picture of the fire in the book. I'll scan it for everyone.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Well,
Jan, do you hear me, Jan?
yes, I hear you.
How are you?
I'm doing better. I'm doing much better every day.
Oh, that's good.
I would like just to share something.
Yes, go right ahead.
Michael Weinstein wrote a book, Times High, and dedicated to Holocaust survivors. My father was one of the people.
Robin, it's very hard to hear you.
Thank you, Robin.
Okay, Michael Weinstein wrote a book called 10 Times High. You can get it in Barnes & Noble in any bookstore. It's dedicated to Holocaust survivors. It's just a book about all synagogues throughout the United States. And he's also the one who wrote the article about my father and had it published for the book. So if anybody's interested in that.
Oh, that'd be great. You said 10 times high, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's a beautiful book, table book, yes.
Okay.
Oh, terrific. Okay, anyone else who wants to share something? Well, okay then. I'll just say one more time, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll meet again in November.
Yes.
And I'll send out the email with the information to order the reprint of the Yisker book. And if it's a list of the people who were killed, I'll scan it and send it. And I can send the picture of the fire also.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so,
Thank you.
okay, so this is the May 21st meeting of the Ivye Relief Society. I'm sorry, we'll let that ambulance go. Signing off with the intention of meeting again in November. So goodbye, everyone, once again, and thank you, everyone, so much. Okay, goodbye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Mike.
Bye-bye.